What is up guys, Greedy Knight here with a part 2 of every tweak I want in Monster Hunter Rise. This time I'll talk specifically about the Charge Blade, which is my main weapon if you haven't guessed by now. I'm not saying that I don't care about changes for other weapons, I just don't feel qualified to talk in depth about changes or buffs I want for these other weapons. I'll just stick with the moveset I know the best, and I'll discuss other weapons once I become adequate with them. So let's just get started with the video. The first thing is somewhat of a given, but I want the Monster Hunter World moveset and its motion values. I want my S tier Charge Blade back. I want Guardpoints canceling my animations instead of bulldozing through attacks like it does in Monster Hunter GU. I want the default 1.2 axe mode instead of 1.15. I want high Phial damage and the super shockwaves back. Monster Hunter GU nerfed Charge Blade to being just balanced, and I felt the fall from grace. But as a Charge Blade loyalist, I kept playing it. The dark age of Charge Blade is hopefully behind us. The second thing I would like is to give Charge Blade additional guard points moving forward into Rise and future Monster Hunter games. For this example, I would like Monster Hunter GU guard points to be implemented. They would operate like how they do in GU, bulldozing through monster attacks, but the default guard points like the Axe transformation and the Sword and Shield transformation would cancel into an evade or super or what have you, like how they do in Monster Hunter 4U and World. One balance could be, in order to activate the style specific guard points, is that you have to obtain Red Shield first before they become active. Additional guard points are one of the few things Monster Hunter GU did right with Charge Blade, giving invincibility on some of your most vulnerable moves. The third thing I want is some variation of the Savage Axe from Iceborne or Valor mode from Monster Hunter GU. Axe mode is where the damage is at, and Charge Blade shouldn't just be Sword and Shield super spam as the only viable DPS strategy. Savage Axe has the correct idea of how Charge Blade should be used, using supers to knock down monsters, and using Savage Axe to chainsaw the monster for that mad deeps while it's down. Super should focus your damage to create an opening, but the full Axe combo should break parts, build a KO, and output more damage than a single super. For the fourth one, I do not care about game balance, but they should allow any Charge Blade with an element to swap between element and impact Phial types via Smithy or Item Box. In general, element has a lackluster roster in both 4U and GU, so I want the ability to swap to one Phial type for certain hunts and swap back for other hunts. A lot of impact Phial Charge Blades would be good for element and vice versa. Giving the option to switch between Phial types would create a lot of variety for viable endgame weapon combinations, and element wouldn't be relegated to trash tier. The main issue with element Phials is just a bad roster of weapons. At the same base attack and sharpness, element will outperform impact when used against the right monster, but there aren't any good element weapons with high base raw, solid sharpness, decent affinity, and high elements. All of the good ones are either sub 330 attack, have mediocre sharpness with sharpness +2, have negative affinity or small element. For the fifth item, I want aerial supers in Rise. Seeing the wire bugs, I'm speculating that the existence of aerial bursts will be available, but I want to be able to jump off a ledge or cliff and slam a super down on the monster. Aerial Charge Blade was fun. For the sixth item, I want there to be more status weapons. There are very few solid status weapons in Monster Hunter GU. 4U had a decent amount, but they avoided having multiple paralysis and sleep weapons for obvious reasons. Slash 1 into shield thrust is broken for this strategy because it builds up Phials and status really quick. For the seventh item, I want load up to be reverted to giving an extra Phial like in World and for you, as opposed to giving more Phials per level of charge like it does in GU. Focus exists for a reason, and it would give an incentive to pair the two skills again. For the 8th item, I just want a general thing to keep the Guardpoint Indicators. It made learning Charge Blade much easier for newcomers, and I just think they're steamy. It's also a good way to teach veteran players where new Guardpoints are, if they add any. The 9th item that should be implemented is a bar indicating how much shield charge you have. It would be akin to Valor Mode shield gauge, and it would help the hunter manage their shield gauge as needed during the course of the hunt. This is the 10th and final item on the list. Element Phials should be allowed to crit. Impact is too strong overall, and element Phials should do even more damage when used against the right monster, while impact should do decent damage against everything. This polarizes how the Phials work, using impact as you progress through the game with a select few number of charge blades, but using element once you have the resources to build the element charge blades in endgame. In my opinion, impact should be the training wheels to teach you how charge blade works, while element should be the endgame goal you are rewarded with after mastering charge blade. That's all I have for the list. As I posted in the previous video, which will be linked, I'm currently grinding the other weapons and posting my results with every weapon after 100 hunts series. The title is still in progress, so look forward to those. The first one will be the only 1000 hunt video, which is Charge Blade. However, if this series gets enough love, I'll take the weapons I like up to 1000, which will most likely be Longsword, Dual Blades, or Sword and Shield. But nothing is set in stone. Enough of my rambling. That's it for this one. Greedy Knight, signing out.